Hey, everybody. Welcome back to How to Dominate Your Market with the Profit Finder. I'm Brian Carmody, the Profit Finder, and I've got a very special guest today. Really interesting conversation today because we're going to be talking about a football team instead of what, typically you think of as a business like, a tech company or the local chiropractor even. This is going to be a really interesting and fun slant, and I think it'll really open up our minds. So my guest today is Jawad Yatim. He's the founder, co-owner, and president and general manager and director of corporate partnerships at the Massachusetts Pirates, the Massachusetts' indoor arena football team, members of the IFL, if you're keeping track, which is Jawad, part of the XFL, you said, right?
Well, the league has a partnership with the XFL.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha. It's a
So,
partnership. Yep.
but yep, where the league is its own entity.
Yep.
But yeah, they formed a good partnership with the XFL. So,
Awesome. And you play your home games at the DCU Center in Worcester, correct?
yeah, as of right now, we're actually currently in the process of renegotiating a new arena lease, potentially relocating within the state. And yeah, so, that's kind of the process we're going through right now, finalizing things. And we have a press conference coming up, that we're going to announce, in the next couple of days. But I mean, I'll just go ahead and say that we got a press conference October 24th, at Plain Ridge Park Casino at 4:45 p.m. So,
Awesome.
and at that point, we'll be making an announcement in terms of where we'll be competing, and just future plans for the organization and everything. So,
Exciting. All right. Well, either way, regardless of where your arena is, I want to let people know if they're not aware, the season runs from late March to end of August. And so if you're listening and you're already thinking about, whoa, arena football, didn't know we had that, in our region. And I can't wait to go look into this and get tickets. I wanted to let you know that's when the season runs. Okay. Um, so tell us, why don't we start with this, Jawad? Why don't you tell us like how you started the team? I mean, you are the founder too. So tell us that story, the founding story.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I played a couple seasons of arena football, and at the time, there wasn't even a team in New England, period. And I grew up in Shrewsbury, very familiar with Worcester, obviously, and the DCU Center, and figured why not bring a team to New England, and more specifically, my hometown and my backyard, so myself along with my father, we decided to jump in and put an organization together, and here we are. So we've been in operations for 6 years. We played 5 seasons, and yeah, so that's kind of the long story short. Just in terms of why we got it out there, kind of where the influence started, and just the origin of it all.
And I'll let you have a long list of accolades already, with not only for your team but for you personally. Rather than, I can't list them all on this episode, but I mean there's quite a bit. But tell us a little bit about some of the ones you're most proud of.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, playing in your own backyard and where you grew up, it obviously adds or I wouldn't say adds, but I would say it heightens, the pride that you take in your work, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously, what you represent. So, being able to bring the first professional sports championship to the city of Worcester was, a great experience for us. That was wonderful. Getting receiving the key to the city was great as well. And just being able to be involved and make a difference in my community, in our community, is wonderful as well. So, I would say those things, all tied together, have made for a great experience, up to this point. And yeah, so I would highlight, I'd say those aspects and experiences that we've, had since we started here.
So picking up on uh, recruiting, like the region aspect and the pride you have of running an organization like this where you grew up. Have you been recruiting from around here too, or has anyone been from around here that's on the team?
So our player pool really comes, from all over the country.
Yep.
We've had a handful of players that came from New England and Massachusetts specifically. Lucas Dennis, who played for us, he was all conference at Boston College. Um, he's from the Boston area. He's currently on the Atlanta Falcons practice squad. But he was from Massachusetts. Thomas Claiborne in our earlier years. He played at Boston College. He's from Massachusetts. Nick Hague and Sean Louiso grew up in Shrewsbury and Worcester. Um, Mamadou Mumbai played in Rhode Island or grew up in Rhode Island. So, we've had we've had a good amount of local guys, but I'd say the majority of them are from the rest of the country. We're pretty aggressive in the southeast. Florida, Georgia, Louisiana. That's definitely a hotbed for football, of course. In terms of college football, maybe familiarity with conferences, I would say, the majority of our players have come from the SEC and from the ACC. So yeah, but it's a wide range of different, I guess, areas that we cover in terms of player recruitment. But yeah, if you can play ball, and you're from, Jupiter, we'll sign you. It's no
Yeah.
problem. So,
Right.
but yeah, we have, it is that much more special when you are able to bring on a local player and someone else who can, represent their home state as well. It's definitely a bonus for us.
Nice. I saw one of your accolades too was a PR, our public relations award too. So it just kind of gets me thinking, like, tell us a little bit about what you've done to, grow the organization. I mean,
Yes, sir.
specifically ticket sales. What did you do coming out of nowhere? From founding it.
Well, we've always just tried to find ways to obviously hit the masses in terms of brand awareness. I'd say one of the biggest things we've done is we locked in a partnership with Nesson. So they're our official broadcast partner, and we've had them since day one. And obviously, they're a pretty big television network, obviously, in this area, but they also have a national platform as well. Um, so forming that partnership with them, was definitely, I'd say, the biggest thing for us. And it adds a validity to the product as well. So yeah, I would say, from that aspect of things, that television deal has been great. But yeah, we're just constantly finding ways to be creative and build that awareness. But one thing I learned about, starting a fan base, because what we sell, you don't need us, you don't need the Pirates. It's not like a gas station or a
Mm-hmm.
supermarket where you need, to obviously visit those establishments. But, for us, to build a fan base, it takes time, because the one thing that you can't buy, at least in what we do, is you can't buy culture, you can't buy history, and you can't buy time, which obviously applies to everything. But your fan base is really, the foundation of the fan base is the history that you've developed, within your market, and the culture that you've developed, and those things come with time. So I would say our most effective marketing campaign has just been just our presence alone and word of mouth, and time. Yeah, as time has passed, we've certainly grown more and more and more, and the familiarity of our product has grown as well. So we understand that we would try and be as aggressive as we can in the moment and find different things to do, but we understand that it does take time, and that time is starting to pass, and we're starting to see I'd say the results of our existence and the duration of it, start to pay off.
Yeah, it's I get it. The Patriots didn't mean much to anybody the first couple of years that they were in existence either. Not what they mean now. So this is kind of a challenge for you, but also probably a pretty awesome experience as well to be at the beginning.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's cool. Even something as simple as the hearing the fans chant "heave ho," during before every kickoff, and little traditions like that, or
Mhm.
it's pretty neat. To see people just buy in, to your team, and
Yep.
support it, and actually care about how they're doing and how we're doing, and yeah, it's cool to see people buy into it. So
So
that's definitely, I'd say, the most enjoyable
I,
aspect of it all.
I want to hear you talk about the what the fan experience is like. What's the ticket holder experience when they go into a game? Because and some of the highlights of that, because I would imagine that um, the existing fan base is always going to be your best um, promoter, your best growth engine, because all it takes is for a couple of people to go to a game together and have a blast, and then you're in the kind of business where they're going to be talking about it with their friends and family. You know what I mean? Oh, I went to the Massachusetts Pirates game, and people are going to be like, what is that? It's our arena football team. What, wake up. Didn't you know about it? We had a blast, and just going on describing what they experienced. So tell me what it's like for a ticket holder to walk in for the first time and go, sit in the stands and watch the game. What kinds of things are you guys doing as a business to make that, an impactful time in the DCU?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, we, we definitely promote, the intimacy of the experience. So, I mean, a typical, football game outdoors, even if you're sitting first row, you're still probably 30 yards away from the actual, playing field. Our setting is a lot more intimate. The first couple rows, especially, you need to keep your head on a swivel because, you have players flying into the stands, balls flying into the stands, and we definitely preach to our players to be interactive, with our fans as well, whether it's, in between kickoffs, chatting it up with some of the kids that are in the stands or the fans. And we used to have a player that used to play rock, paper, scissors, shoot with some of the fans, before every game. And we just want to make it a very intimate, setting for our customers, of course. Some neat things that occur during our game. If a ball goes into the stands, you get to keep it. You don't have to give it back. And then following every game as well, all the fans are allowed to come on the field and interact with the players. Take pictures. Get autographs and everything like that. Talk to them firsthand on how the game went, how they felt. The game was played, and just really being, that interaction is where we want to differentiate ourselves, from some of the major sports leagues, obviously. We want to be very accessible, and yeah. So I would say the intimacy is definitely where we may be different from some other events that you attend, and yeah. So we definitely try and be as interactive as possible, and make you feel like you're a part of the game as much as we can. So.
That's incredible. I want to ask you in a second, how you came up with that, because I think that is, or it could be absolutely your market dominating position. I mean, that is something that you've built into your business that, the Red Sox can't copy and the Bruins can't copy and the Patriots can't copy. They're not going to invite people onto the playing field to talk to the players. You know what I mean? So if I'm a parent and I've got, that 7-year-old, that 8-year-old, am I thinking, what a chance. Not only you hear stories of, you can go to, Fenway or somewhere else, and, you can get blown off by a player, and it's hard to get, autographs and stuff like that. And, but if the opportunity or the option is to go watch the Massachusetts Pirates, and bring the kid down to the field and actually meet the player, minutes after the game ended, and maybe the kid can ask questions about, that, hey, let me touch your shoulder pads and what is your health, that kind of stuff. And, just to, at that age, they just like, wow, wow. And they'll ask all kinds of questions, and I mean, that's really different. Um, I think it's awesome. And I think it's an incredible experience. That's an advantage. And did you think of it? Did you do it right away? Did somebody give you the idea to do it, or how did you learn that people would eat that up?
Well, I mean, so it actually is like a common practice in arena football.
Okay.
It's just like an added,
Yep.
obviously, experience for the fans that attend the game.
Yep.
So when I was playing, I, was familiar with that,
Hmm.
just being able to hang out with the fans after the game and everything. So, um, it might not be as common here or as well known simply because arena football really hasn't been that prevalent in New England or Massachusetts. I mean, we're the longest tenured team in Massachusetts history. The product really hasn't been here, so
Yeah.
things like that, just might not be as, I would say, uh, you know, um, uh, commonly known in the
Hmm.
area, just simply because, obviously the product hasn't been here. But,
So have you
we brought the.
are you putting it out there though? I mean, are you kind of putting that in your marketing messages to let people know that that's a possibility for them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we certainly do. We try to do it as best we can,
Good.
and yeah, I mean, obviously with certain marketing initiatives, sometimes the wording is limited in a sense.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing radio or television, you only get certain, either 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds. So, you try to fit in as much as you can. Obviously any kind of signage or whatnot, you only got so much space, but, anytime we get a chance to mention it, we certainly want to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, been a part of our marketing campaign. As, we've definitely incorporated it. Yeah.
Nice. What is what are some challenges that you're you as a Massachusetts Pirates as a business faces? Is it on the cost side, cost control? You guys have huge overhead or something like that, or is it just or is the biggest challenge, um, hiring? Is it recruiting, um, or is it literally just is marketing your biggest thing, and just we got to get more people to know about the company?
Yeah. I mean, so, I'd say, a couple things. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that there isn't really a history with the sport itself is the biggest obstacle that we face, in terms of marketing. It's not like we're a baseball team or a hockey team or anything like that. A soccer team where, you know, hey, we're the Mass Pirates. Oh, great. What do you do? Oh, we're an arena football team. Oh, what's that? That's a common response that we get. Where if we were a baseball team, everybody knows what baseball is. They're not asking
Yeah.
what baseball is.
Right.
So, not only do we have to market the team itself, but then we also have to market the sport. So we got to double down on our marketing efforts there.
Sure.
Um, and it is an expensive. Football isn't cheap. Just from an insurance standpoint, we have to house our players. Geographically, where there's not too many teams around us, so the travel, can certainly accumulate and everything like that. So
Mhm.
and then I mean with a football team, during the season, I mean we probably balloon up to what 60 plus employees. Um, if you're including players and trainers, coaches, game day staff, front office, everything like that. So, there certainly is an overhead. It's not necessarily a cheap sport or a cheap show to put on. But yeah, so I'd say those are, a couple of things that, come to mind, in terms of just obstacles that that we face, and
Mhm.
that we're fighting through.
What would you say you're doing? We already talked about what you're how you're differentiating the Massachusetts Pirates from, other area athletic teams, sports teams. But are you guys doing it? Is there anything that pops out to you that you're doing differently from other arena football teams that you've been able to notice in your travels?
Um, yeah, I mean, different. I mean, so we're really aggressive from a player standpoint, and part of it, we do want the product to sell itself, right? So we've certainly been and media, media attention in around here isn't easy to get, obviously. Typically the major media market, outlets, they're focusing on the Red Sox, Bruins, Celtics, Patriots, Revolution and stuff like that. So, I mean, the Worcester, where we've been at, Worcester's in the Boston, DMA in terms of, media. It's the Boston media market. So, obviously Worcester has the Telegram Gazette, Charter News, but outside of that, I mean, the affiliates are Boston based, so just cracking the media in general is not easy to do. So that makes us a little more aggressive from a player standpoint because um, signing a certain player can create a story that maybe the Globe would want to cover or the Herald would want to cover, or maybe it makes Fox 25 News you know. Or obviously the Telegram or Charter News or whatnot. But so just I'd say maybe we're a little more aggressive from a player standpoint, and getting certain players on board, just to kind of help create a buzz as well. So, but I mean, I'd say the practices, the marketing practices and initiatives that happen in arena football are, I wouldn't say universal. I mean, everything is dependent upon your market, of course, but I wouldn't say we do anything too distinctively different, from that standpoint. But we are a little more aggressive when it comes to a player personnel standpoint, and simply just to try and create a buzz, of
Yeah.
course. So.
Okay. So once you create a buzz too, so tell us about who are some of the demographics that go in there. I imagine there's probably more than one. I mean, are you doing corporate outreach type things to get things get people in that way, or you and I had talked about families and stuff. Talk about how who are you trying to get the message out to?
Yeah, I mean, families are a huge demographic for us. Obviously the youth. You know, getting the kids in the building and letting them enjoy, obviously the experience. We're a lot more affordable of a ticket than some of the other acts in town.
Yeah.
So just being able to provide an affordable experience for a family is something that we hang our hat on. Outside of that, I would say, just from a number standpoint, we're I would say a heavy male, dominated demographic, just from a statistical standpoint. But yeah, I mean, adrenaline junkies, you know, we definitely try and attack the universities and the college students when they're in town. I'd say we typically get half our home schedule in before they get out of town, so we try and attack the universities as well. But yeah, mainly I'd say families and the kids are our bread and butter. And just being able to provide an affordable experience for a family is something that we certainly try to pitch.
That's cool. I get it now. Yeah. So um reaching out to these guys. So you had mentioned that some of the overhead challenges are come from recruiting players and so forth, and keeping them up and everything. It's basically you're working, just trying to understand. So you're working off of ticket sales to be able to pay for players, right? Pay for their salary and the expenses that go with it. Is that how it works?
Yeah, yeah, I would say. I mean that payroll is obviously a large part of our budgeting throughout the year, but insurance is up there.
Yeah.
Travel. the housing of the players, obviously your arena lease, um, paying your home, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, and then you get into marketing and travel and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, you got ticket sales, you have sponsorship sales, you have, concessions within the arena, merchandise, like fan gear and the merchandise that you buy, games or online. Those are our top four revenue generators right there. So ticket sales, sponsorships, concessions, and merchandise. So, but obviously, in season is where you typically make, the majority of your money. Of course, that's when you're playing your games. That's when you're truly, in business. And I mean, you're always selling. We plan on going. We're going to be going on sale here shortly for season tickets, half season tickets, multi game plans, group tickets, and everything like that. So, yeah, you're constantly selling marketing, but obviously the season is where you know you're able to kind of capitalize on all the preparation that you do during the off season. So.
Right. Massive. So, well, the press press release or announcement that you're doing later this month is going to be really interesting. I bet people are really excited to see what comes next. And so, just to kind of recap for the listeners too. So, arena football, Massachusetts Pirates, in season from late March through end of August. And some of the highlights I heard from Jawad about what makes them different is it's a much more affordable experience than the professional teams that in all the sports that we have in New England. Plus, the big thing that really got me excited too was the intimacy that arena football provides too. So you can really get close to probably no matter where you sit, you're much closer to the field, much closer to the action. As Jawad said, if you're in the first couple of rows, you keep your neck on swivel mode. Make sure you're watching out for footballs. But if you catch one, you get to keep it. So that's pretty cool. And but then to invite fans onto the field after the game, I think is just really a pretty standout experience. That's great because that's not something you can get from too many professional teams out there in all the other leagues. So what a great enterprise that you got going here, and I wish you continued success. You've already had a ton of it, but you seem like a good guy, and I think you're going to continue to do great things here.
We certainly appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, we got a ton of work ahead of us. We still got a long way to go, but we've been enjoying the experience up to this point, and we just want to keep providing an opportunity for people to create memories that are games and enjoy a little football during the off season, the typical off season, obviously outdoor game, and yeah, winning games in the process. We want to bring another championship back home, and that's certainly the goal. But yeah, we look forward to some good times ahead, and yeah, keeping the ship going.
I'll be in the stands. I will be there next season. I can't wait. This is awesome. All
We
right.
appreciate that. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. And yeah, I love the fact that you're in this business that people get your fans, your customers. I mean, most businesses probably struggle, or they do struggle to get referrals. And your customers, like, if you just give them a good experience, they can't wait to go and tell everybody about it. So
Well, the reviews have always been, that's one thing, is that, I'm not going to say everybody, but I'd say the majority of the people who attend our games have always, spoke highly of it, have always enjoyed themselves. We've always gotten great reviews. So for us, it's really just getting people in the building. But obviously not doing it in a way where we're just giving away free stuff all the time. Obviously, you can't pay your bills doing that. So, it's just, for us, it's not necessarily. I mean, it's not necessarily the experience once you're in the door. It's getting you there, and for us, we just got to continue to attack it, be aggressive with it, and like I said, we're not perfect, but for the most part, people have enjoyed their time, at our games, and yeah, we don't hit them too hard in the pockets, so
Yeah.
um, it's a nice balance there. It certainly is.
Awesome. Well, I love how you called out one of the strategies that I teach, joint ventures. You basically set up a joint venture with Nesson, and you said that you gave them credit, or that partnership anyway, that the credit for really helping to get the word out about what you guys do. So I always encourage people to look for those key partnerships to set up, and that let them do the work. Let it do the work for you.
Yes, sir. And another one that we got too recently, last year, is obviously sports wagering, sports betting.
Yeah.
Is a big aspect of just sports entertainment nowadays. So,
Mm-hmm.
last year Massachusetts approved the IFL for sports wagering in the state, and so now you can, if that's something you decide to do, or if that's something you indulge in, you're able to bet on the Massachusetts Pirates now, and the whole league, the whole IFL, through DraftKings, the Better app, and some other major platforms as well. And we did see an uptick in attendance last year. And, I don't think it's a complete coincidence. I think it certainly had something to do with it. People are 80% more likely to watch a game if they place a wager on it. So, if that is something that you do, or that's something you enjoy doing, it is possible for you to wager a little bit on the IFL as a whole. And yeah, so that was a positive development for the organization and the league as well. And then the league, had formed that partnership with the XFL from a player personnel standpoint as well. And they also locked in the CBS Sports Network. The league has a television deal with them as well. With the first game on CBS Sports Network was this past championship, about 2 months ago. So
Yep.
some good developments for the league. The league has grown tremendously. I think back in 2019 there might have been 6 teams. Now there's 17, 18 now. They're just wrapping up expansion here in the league, and then they announced a couple more cities for 2025. So the league is growing pretty steadily, and yeah, so yeah, we just got to keep
Awesome.
grinding, man. Keep
Yep.
working.
That's
What
it.
it is. So
That's the way it works. So, Jawad, where's the best place that people can go check you guys out and start looking into ticket sales?
yes, sir. So you can always visit our website. www.masspiratefootball.com. You can reach out to us via email, contact@masspiratesfootball.com. You can give us a call, 508-452-6277, or just visit us on our social platforms, where you can just type in our name, and you'll find our accounts there. But yeah,
Awesome.
we're out there. So
Awesome. I'll put some of the contact info in the show notes too for the episode, so anybody can just be a click away from your website. So we'll make that happen for you. Okay.
all right, perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You bet. Jawad Yatim, thank you for your time, man. And for the Profit Finders listeners out there, this has been another great episode. And we heard some great stuff from, a highly successful general manager and founder of the Massachusetts Pirates. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.